The city was busy, filled with honking cars and people rushing everywhere. In the tallest building of the business district, a modern office shined with glass and steel. Inside, Mr. Rohan Mehra, a well-known billionaire CEO, stood near his desk. He was tall, dressed in a neat suit, and always carried an air of confidence. Today, however, he looked slightly uneasy. He had called an important meeting. His company was planning a big project that could change the way people use technology every day. He had invited his managers, designers, and investors. Everyone had arrived on time. The large meeting room was quiet except for the soft sound of papers and chairs. But there was one problem. Mr. Mehra could not hear their voices. He was deaf and he communicated through sign language. The staff in the room had tried their best, but no one knew sign language well enough to have a full conversation with him. They had learned a few simple signs, but it was not enough for a serious business meeting. They looked at him nervously, unsure how to proceed. Mr. Mehra sighed. He was used to problems in business, but this was unusual. He had prepared for everything, yet now it seemed like nothing could move forward. He signed a few words to one of his assistants, asking if anyone could translate. The assistant shook her head quietly. "I'm sorry, sir. No one here knows more than the basics," she signed back. Mr. Mehra's eyes moved slowly across the room. He could see the worry on their faces. The employees were afraid that the meeting might fail. He understood their fear, but he also knew that panicking would not help. Meanwhile, at the back of the room, Lena, a young woman who worked as a maid in the office, quietly observed. She had been cleaning the room before the meeting, straightening chairs and wiping the table. She had seen this scene before and recognized the problem immediately. Lena had a secret. Her daughter Annika could sign fluently. She had learned from a very young age and could communicate perfectly with people who were deaf. Lena had never shared this with anyone at the office, thinking it was just a skill her daughter had for family use. Lena's heart beat a little faster. She saw Mr. Mehra glance at the clock. He had been waiting patiently, but now his frustration was clear. If no one stepped in soon, he might leave. Lena whispered softly to herself, "Annika can help. She is ready." In a corner, Annika, a small but confident girl of 12, watched her mother. She had learned sign language carefully and practiced every day. She had never used it in such a big room, with important people watching, but she trusted her skills. When she realized the CEO needed help, she felt a spark of courage. She took a deep breath and walked toward the meeting. Her small steps were calm, but inside her heart was racing. Mr. Mehra noticed movement at the back of the room. He turned and saw Annika approaching. Her presence was unexpected. She was young, but her eyes held determination. He tilted his head slightly, curious about who she was. The staff looked confused, but none of them stopped her. They could feel that something important was about to happen. Annika reached the front of the room. She looked directly at Mr. Mehra and signed clearly, "I can help you talk to them." Her hands moved with precision and her expression was calm. Mr. Mehra's eyes widened. He had not expected anyone so young to know sign language so well. For the first time in the meeting, he felt hope. He signed back, asking her to show the staff how to communicate. The room fell silent. Everyone watched as a young girl began bridging a gap that no adult in the room could. Annika smiled gently, signing each word carefully, making sure everyone could understand. The staff leaned in, trying to follow her movements, realizing that they were about to experience something remarkable. Mr. Mehra felt a sense of relief. He had been close to leaving, thinking the meeting would fail, but now there was a solution. He knew that with Annika's help, the discussion could begin properly. He signed to her again, praising her skill and asking her to translate everything. Annika nodded, confident and ready. As the first few words passed from Annika to the staff, the atmosphere in the room changed. Nervousness was replaced by curiosity. Everyone wanted to understand her. For the first time that day, the meeting room felt alive. Mr. Mehra smiled slightly, knowing that sometimes the smallest person could solve the biggest problem. Annika's presence showed more than just skill. It showed courage, confidence, and the power of helping others. She was ready to change the day and perhaps even the office forever. As Annika began signing, the room fell into a focused silence. Every staff member watched her hands move quickly and clearly, translating every question and answer between Mr. Mehra and the employees. At first, some of the managers blinked in surprise. They had never seen such skill in someone so young. Her signs were precise, confident, and easy to understand. Even those who had never learned sign language found themselves following along. Mr. Mera watched her closely. He had been impressed by many people in his life, but Annika was special. She was calm, polite, and capable. She seemed to know exactly what needed to be done. He signed to her, praising her for stepping forward, and she smiled shyly in response. Lena, standing at the side of the room, felt proud. She had always known her daughter was talented, but seeing her perform in such an important situation filled her heart with joy. She had taught Annika to never be afraid to use her skills, but she had not imagined the impact her daughter could have in a room full of grown professionals. The meeting slowly moved forward. One of the managers asked a question about the new project timeline. Annika signed it to Mr. Mera, who responded with detailed instructions. Annika translated everything word by word. The staff followed along carefully, taking notes and asking more questions, all of which Annika signed back to Mr. Mera. For hours, the meeting continued, but no one seemed tired. Everyone was curious to see how far this young girl's talent could go. She handled every question with patience. She smiled when someone struggled to understand a sign and repeated it gently until everyone followed. During a break, Mr. Mera signed to Annika, asking her to sit for a moment. He wanted to speak to her privately. The staff gave them space, whispering excitedly among themselves. They were amazed by how a small girl had completely changed the atmosphere of the office. Annika sat across from Mr. Mera, her hands folded neatly on her lap. He signed carefully. "You are very talented. How did you learn to do this so well?" Annika signed back, "My mother taught me. She said it is important to help people understand each other." Her smile was gentle, humble, and proud at the same time. Mr. Mera nodded slowly, impressed not only by her skill, but by her wisdom. He signed again. "You have done something important today. You made a meeting that seemed impossible work perfectly." Annika's eyes sparkled with happiness. She had not expected such praise. She had only wanted to help. Now she realized that her small act could make a real difference. The staff returned from their short break, eager to continue. Annika stood and resumed translating, signing every word with patience and clarity. The managers began asking more complicated questions about finances, logistics, and marketing plans. Annika never faltered. She moved her hands quickly and accurately, showing that she could handle anything. One of the investors leaned over to another staff member and whispered, "I have never seen anything like this. She is amazing." The staff member nodded, equally impressed. The room was no longer just a meeting room. It had become a place of learning, respect, and communication. Lena watched from the corner, holding her apron tightly in her hands. She was careful not to interrupt, but felt proud that her daughter was helping the CEO directly. She realized that sometimes the people we overlook have the skills that can make the biggest impact. Hours passed, but no one seemed to notice. The project plan grew clearer and stronger with every question answered and every idea shared. Mr. Mehra signed to Annika to explain a complicated chart on the table, and she translated it effortlessly. The staff began to nod in understanding, and confidence returned to their faces. Finally, the meeting reached a conclusion. Everyone looked satisfied and motivated. Mr. Mehra signed to Annika, "Thank you. You made this day successful." Annika blushed slightly but signed back, "I only wanted to help. I am happy it worked." The staff applauded softly, realizing how important Annika's help had been. They now saw the maid and her daughter in a completely new light. Respect replaced the previous uncertainty. They had learned an important lesson. Talent and skill could come from anyone, anywhere, and it should never be ignored. Mr. Mehra signed one last time to Annika, asking her to stay after the meeting. He wanted to talk about something important. Annika nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and curiosity. She had helped in one meeting, but she could already sense that her life might change because of her courage and skill. Lena approached her daughter quietly after the meeting. She whispered with a smile, "You did very well, Annika. I am proud of you." Annika held her mother's hand and smiled. She had always loved helping, but now she realized that even a small girl could make a big difference in the world of adults. Today was just the beginning of something extraordinary. After the meeting ended, the staff slowly began to leave the room. Some were whispering excitedly, sharing what they had just witnessed. They could not stop talking about Annika, the small girl who had translated for Mr. Mera with such confidence. Even the usually quiet managers were amazed. No one had expected that a child could handle something so important, and yet she had done it flawlessly. Mr. Mera remained seated at his desk, signing to Annika. "You have a talent that very few people have. You helped me today in a way no one else could. I want to speak to you about something important." Annika's eyes widened slightly. She had never imagined that helping in a meeting would lead to a personal conversation with the billionaire CEO. She nodded quickly, eager to listen and learn. Lena, standing quietly nearby, watched nervously. She was proud of her daughter, but also aware that this was an unusual situation. She had always encouraged Annika to use her skills to help others, but now it was clear that the help had a much bigger impact than either of them had imagined. Annika approached Mr. Mera and stood politely. He smiled gently at her and signed, "You have done more than just help me today. You have shown the entire office the value of skill, patience, and courage. Have you ever thought about using your talent in a bigger way?" Annika thought for a moment and signed back, "I have always wanted to help people, but I never thought it could be like this." Mr. Mera nodded. He signed, "That there is an opportunity here. I want you to stay and teach others how to communicate. You can help the staff learn sign language so no one will ever feel lost in a meeting again." Annika could hardly believe what she had heard. Her heart raced with excitement. She had never expected that her small skill could lead to such an important role. She signed back carefully, "I will try my best, sir. I want to help everyone understand each other." Mr. Mehra smiled warmly and signed, "I know you will. You are very brave and talented." The staff who had been leaving had stopped to watch the interaction. Some were amazed, while others were curious. Slowly, they began to approach Annika, offering polite greetings and words of appreciation. They wanted to learn from her, and she welcomed their attention with confidence. Lena came closer and whispered to her daughter, "You did very well, Annika. I am so proud of you." Annika smiled and nodded. She knew this was only the beginning. She had helped in one meeting, but now she could help the entire office. She could teach others how to communicate with Mr. Mera and with anyone else who used sign language. The next day, Annika started her first lessons with the office staff. She set up a small area in a quiet room and began teaching simple signs. The employees listened carefully, repeating each movement of her hands. Annika was patient and gentle, explaining each sign slowly and clearly. Even the adults were learning something new, and they respected her for her skill and confidence. Mr. Mera occasionally joined the lessons, signing encouragement and praise to both Annika and the staff. He was impressed by how quickly they were learning and how willing they were to participate. Annika's teaching not only helped the staff communicate, but also created a sense of unity in the office. People began to work together more smoothly and with more understanding. As the weeks passed, Annika became a regular presence in the office. She taught staff during breaks, after meetings, and whenever there was time. Her lessons were fun, engaging, and easy to understand. The employees looked forward to them, and many said they felt proud to be learning from someone so young and talented. Lena watched her daughter with pride and amazement. She had always known Annika was special, but seeing her talent make such a difference in the lives of adults was something entirely new. It made her feel proud not just as a mother, but as someone who had helped guide her daughter to use her skills for good. Even outside the office, people began to notice. Other companies heard about the young girl who could teach adults sign language and help a billionaire CEO communicate. Annika's confidence grew, and she realized that her small actions could inspire others. One afternoon, after a long lesson, Mr. Mera signed to Annika, "You have changed this office and my life in a special way. I want to make sure you know how important you are to us all." Annika smiled shyly and signed back, "I only wanted to help, sir. I am happy if everyone can understand each other better." The CEO nodded, deeply impressed by her humility. He knew that her heart and mind were as talented as her hands. The office had learned something important. Respect, understanding, and communication were more valuable than anything else. Annika looked around the room and saw the staff smiling, practicing signs and feeling confident. She felt proud of herself, but also happy that she could make a real difference. She had started by helping in one meeting, But now she was helping an entire office to grow, learn, and connect. That day, Annika realized something important. Even though she was young, her skills and courage could change the lives of many people. She understood that talent was not measured by age or size, but by the willingness to help and the courage to act. She felt ready for anything that might come next. The office had changed since Annika had joined to help. People moved through the hallways with a new sense of understanding. Meetings that once felt confusing or tense were now clear and organized. The staff had started practicing signs regularly, and they felt proud of their progress. Annika had become more confident too. She loved seeing how her small skills could make a big difference. One morning, Mr. Mera called for a special discussion. The topic was a new project that could impact the company for years to come. The staff gathered in the meeting room, and Annika stood at the front ready to translate. Everyone was curious because this project was complex and had never been attempted before. Mr. Mera signed to Annika, asking her to explain the plan to the staff. She moved her hands with precision, translating each word into sign language for those who needed it. She also repeated the signs slowly for the staff who were still learning. Everyone followed along carefully. As the discussion continued, a manager asked a question that was very difficult. Annika paused for a moment, thinking carefully. Then she signed clearly to Mr. Mera, who replied with a detailed answer. Annika translated it slowly, making sure everyone understood. The staff nodded and took notes, impressed by both her skills and her patience. After the meeting, several staff members approached Annika. They wanted to ask questions about the signs and learn new ways to communicate. She smiled and helped them, showing them how to form each sign correctly. Some of the employees had never realized how important nonverbal communication could be. They were learning that understanding each other was not just useful but also respectful and kind. Lena watched quietly from the side. She was proud of her daughter, who had grown from a shy girl into a confident young teacher. She knew Annika had the courage to stand in front of adults and help them in a way that no one else could. Lena realized that her daughter's talent was not just useful for the office, but could also inspire others. In the following weeks, Annika's influence in the office grew. People who had once ignored her now listened carefully when she spoke through her hands. Even those who were busy with important work took time to learn from her. Mr. Mera signed to her one afternoon, "You are teaching more than just language. You are teaching respect and patience." Annika felt proud, but she remained humble. She signed back, "I am happy if everyone can understand each other better. That is all I want." One day, a new employee joined the company. She was young and nervous. She had never worked in such a large office before, and felt unsure about speaking in front of the CEO. Annika noticed her hesitation and walked over to help. She signed a few simple greetings and showed her the basic signs. The new employee's face lit up with relief and happiness. She realized she could communicate with Mr. Mera and the staff without fear. This small act showed Annika that helping others was not just about translating words. It was about making people feel included, respected, and confident. The office had become a place where everyone felt valued, and Annika played an important role in creating that atmosphere. Mr. Mera often watched from his desk. He had seen many talented people in his life, but Annika was different. She had not only solved a problem in one meeting, but had also created lasting change in the company. He signed to her, praising her work and asking if she wanted to take on more responsibilities in helping the staff. Annika smiled and signed back, agreeing happily. Over time, Annika became more than just a translator. She became a teacher, a guide, and an inspiration. She taught new employees, helped in meetings, and encouraged everyone to learn and grow. Her small size and young age no longer mattered. People saw her courage, skill, and kindness, which were much more important than age or experience. Lena could see the joy in her daughter's eyes. Annika had grown so much in confidence, and she had become someone who could make a difference in the lives of others. Lena felt proud of the lessons she had taught Annika about helping people and using her talents wisely. One afternoon, Mr. Mera held a small meeting with the senior staff. He signed clearly to Annika, "You have changed this office and helped me in ways I cannot explain. I want you to continue teaching and guiding everyone. Your skills are more valuable than you know." Annika smiled and signed back, "I will do my best, sir. I want..." The office had grown quieter in the morning as employees focused on their tasks. Yet there was a sense of energy in the air. People were practicing signs while talking to each other, and even in short chats they remembered to include everyone. Annika had started early, setting up a small corner of the office with charts showing basic signs for greetings, questions, and important work instructions. Mr. Mera, sitting at his desk, noticed the difference immediately. He watched how smoothly the staff communicated with each other and how quickly they responded to his questions. He signed to his assistant. "Look how far they have come in such a short time. She has made a real difference." Lena, standing nearby as usual, smiled quietly. She had always known that Annika was capable, but seeing the entire office change because of her daughter's effort was beyond what she had imagined. She remembered teaching Annika to never fear showing her skills and now felt proud that the lesson had turned into something meaningful. Annika was busy with a new group of employees who had just joined. She signed slowly, teaching them how to introduce themselves in sign language. They watched carefully, following each movement of her hands. Some of them laughed softly when they made mistakes, but Annika encouraged them with a smile. She signed to one employee, "It is okay to make mistakes. You will learn faster if you keep trying." The employee nodded, smiling, and tried again. Within a few minutes, he could sign simple greetings correctly. Annika's patience and encouragement made everyone feel included and confident. The new employees were not just learning a skill, they were learning respect, understanding, and teamwork. During a break, Mr. Mera approached Annika and signed, "You have helped everyone feel important. You have given them confidence to try something new. This is more than teaching signs. This is teaching courage." Annika smiled shyly and signed back, "I am happy if everyone can understand each other. That makes me happy too." The staff had begun to notice how much easier work had become. Meetings were shorter, instructions were clearer, and the atmosphere was calmer. People were more patient with each other, and misunderstandings had decreased. Annika had not only taught them sign language, but had also taught them the value of kindness and attention. One afternoon, a young intern approached Annika hesitantly. She had seen Annika working with the staff but had been too shy to speak. She whispered, "I want to learn, but I am afraid I will make mistakes." Annika knelt down slightly to be at the intern's level and signed gently, "It is okay to be afraid. Everyone feels that way at first. I will help you, and you will do well." The intern's eyes brightened and she nodded. Annika took her through each sign slowly, guiding her hands until the intern could perform them correctly. By the end of the lesson, the intern was smiling and felt proud of herself. Annika realized that helping someone overcome fear was just as important as teaching skills. That evening, Mr. Mera signed to Annika, "You have grown from a helper to a teacher. You have inspired courage and respect in everyone here. I am proud of you." Annika felt a warm sense of pride, but she remained humble. She signed back, "I only want to help. That is all I can do." Lena watched her daughter and felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had raised Annika to be kind, brave, and skilled, but she never imagined her small acts of teaching would have such a large impact. Annika had shown everyone that talent and courage are not measured by age or size. The following week, Mr. Mera organized a small celebration to recognize Annika's contributions. The staff decorated a corner of the office with flowers and small signs saying, "Thank you." When Annika entered, she was surprised. She had never expected such appreciation, and her small hands covered her mouth in delight. Mr. Mera signed to her, "You have helped more than anyone could imagine. You have shown everyone what is possible with courage and skill. Today we celebrate you." The staff applauded, and even the quietest employees joined in. Annika signed back, "Thank you, everyone. I am happy to help." The celebration was filled with laughter, learning, and small lessons. Annika helped the employees practice signs while they shared messages of appreciation. Everyone felt included, and the office felt like a family. As the day ended, Annika packed her bag, feeling proud and happy. She looked around the office and saw the smiling faces, people practicing signs, and a culture of respect and communication growing stronger every day. She understood that even a small act like helping in a meeting could lead to meaningful change. Lena came to her and signed gently, "You have done more than I ever imagined. I am proud of you, Annika." Annika smiled and signed back, "I only wanted to help, Mother. I am happy if everyone can understand each other." Mr. Mera watched the exchange, feeling a sense of admiration. He knew that Annika's presence had changed the office for the better. She had brought courage, understanding, and kindness to everyone. The small girl who had stepped into a meeting months ago had now become a symbol of what was possible when talent, patience, and bravery were combined. Annika realized something important that evening. Helping others was not just about teaching skills. It was about giving people confidence, showing them respect, and inspiring them to try their best. She felt ready for any challenge, knowing that her courage and talent could make a real difference in the world around her. Weeks passed, and the office continued to change. Every morning, employees arrived eager to practice their signs. Meetings ran smoothly, and communication had improved in ways no one had expected. The once quiet and tense atmosphere had become lively, filled with understanding and cooperation. Annika's lessons had become a daily routine, and the staff looked forward to learning from her. Mr. Mera noticed the difference every day. He signed to his assistant, "She is not only teaching signs, she is teaching respect, patience, and teamwork. The office is stronger because of her." Lena watched from the side, quietly proud of her daughter. She had always known Annika was talented, but the way she had changed an entire office made her heart swell with pride. She remembered the first day her daughter had stepped forward to help, and now Annika had become someone everyone respected and listened to. Annika was teaching a group of employees about advanced signs that could help in more complex meetings. She demonstrated each movement carefully, making sure everyone could follow along. Some employees made mistakes at first, but Annika patiently corrected them with gentle signs and encouraging smiles. One employee, who had been shy and hesitant when he first joined, had become one of Annika's fastest learners. He signed confidently, and Annika clapped her hands, showing approval. The employee beamed with pride. Annika knew that small encouragements could make a big difference, and she loved helping people feel confident. Later that day, Mr. Mera called Annika to his office. She walked in, curious about what he wanted to discuss. He signed, "I am very proud of your work. You have changed this office in a way I did not expect. I want to ask you something important." Annika nodded politely, listening carefully. He signed, "Would you like to teach sign language to more people outside the office? You could help other companies or even schools. Your skill is valuable and people can learn a lot from you." Annika's eyes widened. She had never imagined that her small talent could have such a wide impact. She signed back, "I would like that very much, sir. I want to help as many people as I can." Mr. Mera smiled and signed, "I knew you would feel that way. You have the heart and courage to do great things. I will help you in any way I can." From that day, Annika began planning lessons outside the office. She prepared simple charts, practiced new signs, and thought about how to teach beginners. She knew that teaching others would be different from helping the office staff, but she was excited for the challenge. Back in the office, her presence had brought even more positive change. Employees were more confident, respectful, and helpful to each other. They had learned patience and understanding, not only with sign language but with each other as well. Annika had become more than a teacher. She had become a guide and an example of how courage and kindness could create change. One afternoon, a visitor came to the office. It was a representative from a nearby school who had heard about Annika's work. She wanted to discuss ways Annika could teach children who were deaf or hard of hearing. Annika signed politely, sharing ideas and explaining how she could help. The staff watched in admiration, proud that their small teacher was now inspiring others beyond the office. Lena stood quietly nearby, amazed at her daughter's confidence. She realized that Annika had grown from a quiet girl helping her mother to someone who could teach and inspire an entire community. Her skills were no longer hidden, they were a gift to everyone around her. Mr. Mera signed to Annika during the meeting with the school representative. "You have done something extraordinary. Your talent is not just helping us, it is helping many others. You should be proud of yourself." Annika smiled and signed back, "I am happy to help. That is all I want." The day ended with Annika preparing her materials for the first school lesson. She carefully organized charts and notes, thinking about how to explain signs clearly and simply. She wanted to make sure that everyone she taught could understand easily, just like she had helped the staff in the office. That evening, as she returned home, Lena asked her how she felt. Annika signed, "I feel happy. I never imagined I could help so." The office buzzed with excitement that morning. Employees were chatting in sign language, practicing new words, and sharing what they had learned from Annika. Even the quietest staff members were joining in, slowly gaining confidence. Annika stood at the front of the room, ready to continue her lessons. Her smile was calm but full of energy. She loved seeing everyone try their best and improve. Mr. Mera, seated at his desk, watched her with admiration. He signed quietly to his assistant. "She is remarkable. Look how she inspires everyone. Her courage and skill have changed this office completely." Annika began the lesson by reviewing some basic signs with the staff. She showed them new ways to communicate complex ideas, using clear gestures and simple explanations. The employees followed her carefully, repeating each movement. Some struggled at first, but Annika encouraged them patiently. Her small hands moved gracefully, explaining every sign with precision. A manager raised a question about a difficult project detail. Annika paused for a moment, then signed to Mr. Mera for the answer. He replied with clear instructions, and Annika translated everything accurately. The staff listened carefully, impressed by her focus and confidence. They realized that she was not just teaching signs, she was teaching clarity, patience, and understanding. After the lesson, several employees approached Annika to ask questions and learn more. She guided them gently, showing the correct way to form each sign and offering encouragement. Even those who had been hesitant before were now asking for advice. Annika felt proud of their progress and happy that she could help them feel confident. Meanwhile, Lena watched her daughter quietly from the side. She remembered the first day Annika had helped Mr. Mera in the meeting. At that time, Annika had been nervous and unsure. Now she had grown into a teacher, a guide, and a source of inspiration. Lena felt proud and thankful for the courage and patience her daughter had shown. Later in the day, a visitor came to the office. She was from a local community center and had heard about Annika's lessons. She wanted to discuss ways Annika could teach children who were deaf or hard of hearing. Annika signed politely, explaining her ideas and showing examples of how she could teach simple and advanced signs. The staff watched in admiration, proud that their young teacher was making an impact beyond the office. Mr. Mera signed to Annika during the meeting. "You are not just helping our office, you are inspiring a whole community. Your talent is extraordinary, and your heart is kind. You are showing people the power of communication and courage." Annika smiled shyly and signed back. "I only want to help, sir. I am happy if everyone can understand each other." The next day, Annika began preparing a small workshop for children at the community center. She carefully arranged charts, wrote notes, and practiced teaching phrases that were easy to understand. She wanted to make sure that the children could learn quickly and feel proud of themselves. Back in the office, her presence continued to make a difference. Employees were more patient with each other, understanding the importance of listening and learning. Mistakes were no longer frustrating. They were opportunities to practice, grow, and encourage each other. Annika's lessons had created a culture of respect and teamwork, which made the office stronger than ever. One afternoon, a young intern approached Annika hesitantly. She had been nervous to ask for help in the past, but now felt comfortable. She signed slowly. "Can you help me with these new signs? I want to do them correctly." Annika knelt down and signed back gently. "Of course, I will help you. You will do very well." She guided the intern's hands and repeated the signs slowly, making sure she understood each movement. The intern's confidence grew, and by the end of the lesson, she was smiling and signing correctly. Annika knew that teaching people to feel confident was just as important as teaching them the signs. That evening, Mr. Mera signed to Annika. "You have changed this office, and more than that. You are inspiring others outside this building too. Your courage, patience, and skill are remarkable. You should be very proud of yourself." Annika signed back with a gentle smile. "I am happy to help, sir." "That is all I want." Lena came over and hugged her daughter quietly. She signed softly. "You have done something amazing, Annika. You have shown everyone that even a young person can make a big difference." Annika nodded and signed back. "I just wanted to help, Mother. I am happy if everyone can understand and respect each other." That evening, Annika prepared her notes and charts for the next day. She felt a mixture of excitement and calm. She knew that teaching was not only about showing signs, it was about helping people communicate, gain confidence, and feel included. As she looked around the office one last time that day, she noticed smiling faces practicing signs and encouraging each other. She understood that her journey was far from over. Her courage had started with one meeting, and now it had grown into something much bigger. She was not just teaching signs, she was teaching respect, understanding, and teamwork. Annika realized that every small act of courage could have a lasting impact. Her first step into that meeting room had changed her life, the office, and now the community. She felt ready for the challenges ahead, knowing that her heart, her hands, and her skills could continue to make a difference. The office felt brighter that morning. The staff were moving through the halls, smiling and practicing signs they had learned from Annika. The energy was different from before. There was laughter, conversation, and understanding. Every employee seemed more confident, and every interaction carried a sense of respect and care. Annika stood near the center of the room, ready to continue her lessons. She felt proud and happy, but also calm. She knew her work was important and she wanted to do her best. Mr. Mara watched from his desk. He had seen many talented people in his life, but Annika was different. She had changed not just the office, but the hearts and minds of the people in it. He signed to his assistant quietly. "She has brought more than skill to this place. She has brought courage, patience, and understanding. She is extraordinary." Annika began the day with a short review. She went over signs that the staff had been learning and encouraged them to try more complicated phrases. Some employees stumbled at first, but she guided them patiently. Her hands moved gracefully, signing each word carefully. The staff followed her, learning not only the movements, but also the meaning behind them. After the lesson, Mr. Mara called Annika to his office. She walked in, curious about what he wanted to discuss. He signed, "Annika, today is special. I want to recognize your hard work and dedication. You have helped the office, the staff, and even inspired people outside. I want to make sure you know how valuable you are." Annika's eyes widened slightly. She had never expected such attention. She signed back carefully, "I am happy to help, sir. That is all I want." Mr. Mara smiled and signed, "You have done more than that. You have taught courage, patience, and kindness. Today I want to celebrate you and your achievements." The staff gathered in the main meeting room. There were flowers, colorful banners, and a small stage. Everyone was excited, whispering about the surprise. Annika walked in slowly, feeling a mixture of nervousness and happiness. She did not know what to expect. Mr. Mara stood and signed to the staff, explaining Annika's contributions. He told them how she had stepped into the first meeting, helped translate, and eventually taught the entire office sign language. Explained how her courage and skill had changed the company culture, making everyone more understanding and respectful. When he finished, he signed to Annika, "Today we honor you. You are not just a helper, you are a teacher, a guide, and an inspiration. Your talent has made a difference in all of our lives." Annika's cheeks turned pink. She signed back, "Thank you, sir. I only wanted to help." The staff clapped and cheered. Even the employees who had once been quiet joined in, showing their respect and admiration. Annika felt a warmth in her heart. She had started by helping in one meeting, but now she realized that her actions had reached far beyond what she had imagined. Lena watched from the side, tears of pride in her eyes. She had always known her daughter was special, but seeing her recognized in front of so many people made her heart swell. She signed softly to Annika, "You have done something amazing. I am so proud of you." Annika smiled and signed back, "I am happy if everyone can understand and respect each other." After the celebration, Mr. Mara signed to Annika, asking if she wanted to continue her work with the community. Annika nodded eagerly. She had already planned lessons at schools and community centers, teaching children and adults who wanted to learn sign language. She knew her work could make a difference outside the office as well. The staff continued practicing signs even after the ceremony. They were excited to use what they had learned in their daily work. Meetings became easier, instructions clearer, and cooperation stronger. Annika had shown them that communication was more than words. It was about respect, patience, and understanding. One afternoon, as Annika prepared for a community lesson, Mr. Mara signed to her, "You have taught all of us a very important lesson. Talent is not measured by age or position. Courage, patience, and kindness make a real difference. You are a true example of this." Annika signed back, smiling, "I just want to help people, sir. That is enough for me." Lena stood nearby, watching her daughter organize her charts.